Hello and welcome to the Bellcast, episode 18.
Yeah,
18.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Hey Lorenzo, how are you doing?
The camera's over there, Kevin. Do you want to look at the camera?
How
Are you getting a little bit paranoid about the camera with the back side angle? You mentioned it once.
It gets the back of my head.
Do you want to be in the front next time?
I'm not a star. They're the star.
Yeah. Don't even. No.
I broke the plan.
They, as in other people here. Oh, Mike. You mean Mike? As singular.
That's Mike.
Mike, how you doing?
Doing well, Lorenzo. I saw you dressed up today, looking good.
The hell is that?
Oh, it's dressed up.
What are you talking about? What's wrong with the
Very good.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to take it.
No jeans today, no ripped jeans.
Yeah, good.
This is like
Nice
funny.
shoes.
So this is he's gonna try and get me out of talking at the beginning by bashing me completely.
Until he shuts you down completely, and then.
Well, I guess yes. Okay, so Star Wars shirt. That's fun. Nothing wrong with that. What are you doing this weekend?
That's a good question.
You don't know.
Actually.
You don't
No
know
major
it.
plans. You know, it used to be when you had the 3-day weekend or 4-day weekend because you're working for somebody else. It was great and you had big plans. But then when you're
Well, you're married now. You work.
Yeah, that's right, 24/7. But when you have your own company now, it's shifted a lot more work and
Do some stuff over the weekend.
yeah,
Get stuff done.
yeah, exactly.
Kevin has hired like 48 employees.
Yes.
He has people doing stuff and all this kind of stuff. By the way, you brought up to me yesterday that last week's podcast was not on the website.
Yes.
Yes, and then would you like to apologize publicly now for saying that to me?
Yes. So I was.
We didn't.
Last week podcast was up on all the podcast platforms. It wasn't up on the website. But then I realized that he doesn't put it up on the website until I post the YouTube video, and I hadn't edited the video yet. And so now it all comes back. I thought he was in the wrong, but it turns out it's me. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I mean, how could he edit the video? He only has 55 employees to do that for him.
That's what I mean, Mike. I mean, you are in the bougie
Yeah,
class.
but guess what? He was busy because he's actually, and this is office hazard potentially. He's got the new VR headset,
Yes.
the Quest.
Which I would not put on in his presence because I didn't trust him.
Because
However,
he doesn't trust anyone.
Oh,
He'll put it
right.
out, someone's gonna hit him.
Yeah.
So he has the entire office now wearing that thing, swinging things around,
Yeah.
shooting fake whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we had people from
You gotta
downstairs
sign a waiver now to go to the second
to go
floor.
anywhere near the office. You're gonna get hit.
he's taken over that whole bougie section.
That's the goal.
That's right.
That's the
Hi, Melissa. Hi, Anthony. How are you?
Hey guys.
Hello, how are you?
Okay. See, now I brought him in a couple minutes. That was good, right? They sat here a little comfort. Anthony, Melissa, what do you guys do? Are you in Bellworks?
Yes.
You are.
We own 2 restaurants in Bellworks, Mezza and Estrella, Azul, an Italian and a Mexican restaurant.
Okay, Mike. What is the Mexican place called?
Estrella Azul.
Excellent.
Yeah.
See, you did a good
I
job.
know, I
You
know.
did a good job.
There we go. And Mezza has been. You guys have been in business for quite
Right.
some time before Bell, right?
Right, about 20 years. In 2000, my dad opened it up. I mean, he had restaurants before that. We were always in the restaurant business. I worked there, since then. I'm only 32, but I was working there when I was 12 and working in pizzeria before that. And we've been there for 20 years, and Melissa's been there for, 11 years now? 12?
It's gonna be 13, I think.
13.
I thought you were going to say like 30.
No,
Like 30
no.
No,
years.
12
It feels
this
like 30
year.
years in the
Yeah,
restaurant.
exactly.
Yes.
12 years.
Born in the restaurant.
Right.
We've had it working ever since.
Yeah.
Kevin, just a quick note. You don't have any pad or timer or anything out there, so you just shit the bed completely on this website?
Thank you,
Fine.
thank
Okay,
you.
just want to make sure. Okay, just calling you out. I want you to have it. It's on camera and everything like that.
That's good.
Um,
I'll steal a piece of paper.
Do you both run both locations, or do you split it up, or
Yes.
like when you're fighting, or when you're not? One's on one
Yeah,
side.
I stay in the Mexican, she stays in the Italian when we're fighting.
Okay. All right.
So we get here in the morning. We run both of them,
Okay.
and then at nighttime we actually go to the other one and run that one for dinner.
Oh.
So we work crazy hours, and then on the weekends we're there on the weekend. So
Wow.
because that's more of a restaurant too. We have we have like
A sit-down dining room.
right.
That's
very
Mezza
big-
Luna, right?
Yeah.
Mezzaluna in Manalapan, yes.
Okay.
That's our other restaurant.
Yeah, and I'll talk a little bit about that because I think a lot of people fantasize about owning a restaurant and being a restaurant owner. And I'm just going to own this restaurant and everyone's going to work for me.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever the
Yeah,
case.
it's
We
not the
all
case
own
ever.
our own business, and I think,
Right.
even with the hours that we put in, you guys have us beat.
Oh,
The restaurant
yeah,
industry
no.
by far.
Oh yeah, easily. I mean, 40 hours a week is just completely out of the question. We'll put in 80 hours, no problem. It's really, but you have to be there. But the thing is too, is when you're so passionate about it and it's open for that long, hour-wise, you want to be there. You don't want Not saying that the people working for us are incapable, you know, we have great people working for us, but you just wanna be there, you wanna, you know, just make sure everything's going smooth.
Did you find Bell works? How did you come across?
Well, we, you know, just people were talking about it, and then, you know, Melissa's friends talking about it. We just came here we weren't actually looking to open up a new location, but we came here, just, you know, to take a look, because it's always in the back of your mind. And we came here, and so we got a tour, and as soon as we walked in, we were just blown away. I mean, like anybody that walks into this building, people don't realize the magnitude of, you know,
How long ago was it? Like at what point
that
was it?
was in, what, 2017, right? 2000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was May 2017. Yeah, so 2 years ago.
Really not much was actually in here
Right.
established.
It was pretty much
Nothing was
empty.
in here, really.
Yeah, it was pretty much empty.
Did, so from that moment on, was it a long process to finally get to the
Right. Yeah. Well, it was a very long process, but it was actually funny how it worked out, because you know our background is in Italian restaurants, of course, but we have such a deep passion for food itself, and I mean we could open up any type of food establishment with the right research and, you know, things like that. So we were in here, and they have very limited ventilation space going up, and we said how great would it be if we could open up 2 restaurants instead of 1 with 1 kitchen, because the ventilation, you know, if there were 2 separate owners, it would have to be 2 separate kitchens, you know,
Yes.
you can share.
Yeah.
So that's when we got the idea to open up a Mexican restaurant, and you know, that over about a year of testing, you know, recipes, things like that, and that's how we got both of them.
And the taco pizza, is that down the road?
Future.
Pizza, yeah.
Well,
I
I've worked
guess.
in restaurants for 18 years, and I ran a pizzeria for 15
Oh,
years.
awesome.
And the taco pizza, that and the cheesesteak pizza were the 2 biggest hits.
Right. Well, you know, if we could sell pizza, then we would. But
So, Melissa, when Anthony steps out of line, what do you do? No. Well, what time are you open till 5 o'clock, right?
no, we're open till 4:30 Monday through Thursday, and
Okay.
then Friday we close at 4.
At 4. Do you still do those to go like at the end of the day orders? Did that work?
Well,
how do you see
It
that play
didn't
out?
work.
It didn't
We-
work. Okay.
We tried it for a week and we only had a couple people
Yeah.
coming each day, so it wasn't worth it.
Okay.
But this upcoming Tuesday, we're launching online ordering. So if people want to place an order and set it to pick up anytime between like 4:30 and 5:30,
Okay.
they can do that.
Is there Taco Tuesday?
We did that for a little bit too. It wasn't.
It's gotta be at night, right? It's almost
Right.
like-
See, that's the thing. It's
Yeah.
like, and it also pairs with alcohol, things like that. But you know, this is all stuff for the future.
Okay.
You know, we could test things, and you know, we could gauge it. But the building, you know, as great as it is right
Dies
now,
out at
right? Exactly. Yeah.
at 5 o'clock. So,
Now, the online ordering is interesting, because the one thing I was gonna ask you guys about is the use of technology. Like, I love that you go in there, you can order on the screens.
Yeah, screen
There's
ordering.
something about that, it's efficient. Lots of restaurants don't embrace the technology.
Right.
So how have you guys kind of embraced the tech? And then talk a little bit about the online ordering and how people can do it.
Right. Well, it's well, I mean, technology is very important to us. I mean, we're young. We grew up with it. I actually have a master's degree in software engineering, so it's like, you know, we always, you know, we're around it. We always wanted to, you know, that to be a major part of our business. And online ordering is very, very important. I mean, we see that in our other restaurant, but especially here because of the younger crowd. But to pair with it, we're going to start delivery as well next week within the building. So people could just, I mean, you guys could go there. If you go there at 12:30, there's lines to the doors and,
Yeah.
and places that, you know, that might detract some people because they don't want to wait in line and then wait a couple minutes.
it
for
has done
delivery.
it to me. I mean, just,
Right.
well, I'll come back.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
sometimes, yeah.
But I mean, but that's something we can't
That's
help.
a good problem to have with that.
Right, no, exactly. But if you wanted to place your order ahead of time and pick it up at 12:30, you could just walk right to the cashier and just pick it up, you know? So, you know, online ordering and then the kiosks, you know, you just walk in, place an order, you know, it's,
Is
you
the
know.
kiosk software the same? Are you using something like Toast or something?
It is Toast.
It is,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So, that's what's on the kiosk?
Right, it's
And
all.
that's gonna be the
it's-
online ordering as well?
It's all Toast, yeah.
Okay, so are you gonna run up and down the flights?
Not me personally, but somebody.
Why not, bro? You keep saying he's young. I'll keep saying he's young,
I'll
let's
do
go.
it. I'll do it.
I know
if
you
have
will,
to.
I know you will. As far as finding the vendors and the products and the food and stuff like that, was that Mezza, I guess, was an easy pull because you probably use the same vendors.
Oh, right.
What about?
Well, the Mexican, it's, believe it or not, I mean, we have a Mexican supplier just for like, you know, tortillas, things like that,
Okay.
specific stuff. But a lot of it too is like flank steak, you know, pork butt, things like that you can get pretty much at any supplier.
Okay.
But then there is the whole Mexican aspect of it, you know, like a lot of the ingredients.
Yeah.
You're not gonna, there's no way an Italian supplier is gonna provide you with achiote paste or something like that, you know?
And
so-
if he does, you should question.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, no, you should question
Exactly,
it. Especially if they can also offer you stuff for a Chinese food restaurant.
Right.
Yeah, we've got it.
Kevin?
Yeah, I want to take something back because, you know, we did a little bit of background, so I didn't know that you had a degree in software engineering, but I know that you went to school for criminal justice, so you guys both have very different
Yeah.
Right.
schoolings and
Right.
backgrounds from the business, so how did you both end up transitioning and ending up where you are now?
Right, well, I mean, you know, we went to school and we didn't have the initial plan of being in the restaurant business. We grew up in it, you know, I started when I was a kid, she started when she was 16.
Was it ever in the back of your head that maybe you'll take over someday?
It's always in the back of my head, but then when you see the amount of work that, you know, your parents put into it, it detracts you as a kid, you know?
Standing in front of a 650-degree oven in the
Exactly.
summer for 12 hours is
Oh,
Like, no, I'm not gonna do
That's
that.
how I kept my girlish figure. Now it doesn't matter anymore. And the reason why we ask these questions is apparently, let me give credit to Mike. Mike gave us a full like rider of information, so now you know future guests are going to get you. Everything's public information. But I did 8-year-old, right?
It's insane.
Boxes and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Did your parents?
So so on both sides of my family, everyone owns a pizzeria or restaurant. Every person, my mom, her siblings, my dad, all his siblings, and then, you know, my grandparents, it's everywhere.
Nobody puts concrete down in that family?
No, so it's
Just food.
now, yeah, it's just
Okay.
food, pizzerias everywhere. So, you know, I started at Red Moon Pizza, that's my uncle's place in Howell.
Okay.
And it was just me and my cousin making boxes, and then we went on to breaking apart cheese for the pizza because it would come in the blocks when you refrigerate them.
Is cheese or dough worse to make?
To
cut.
make,
Well, you know what I'm saying. Cut the cheese or make the dough.
or roll the dough. I mean, it's if you roll the dough enough, you get used to it. But when you start, it's very, very tiring.
Yeah, okay. 15 years of doing it, sorry.
Right.
Melissa, when you started working there, right, was there a no dating policy at the office, or how did that work?
No, we didn't start dating until after like
She was
5
16
years.
and I was 21, so.
All right, Blaine, I got you. Okay.
But we started dating when I graduated college.
Where'd you go?
I went to Rutgers.
Rutgers. Okay.
And his dad decided to retire around the same time I graduated, so, and they need someone full time. So that's how I ended up there full time.
Okay, and next thing you know, you're owning a pizzeria.
Yeah.
Married, right?
Your thought works.
Anniversary coming up, yes?
In July.
Good answer, my man.
July
All right,
3rd.
still early, you should still remember.
3 years.
I see, he got married July 3rd, so he would, I got married on Halloween.
Right.
No chance of me ever forgetting. I can dress up as a groom every year, I don't have to worry about anything, I'm set.
Funny story is we actually got married on July 3rd because we work in the restaurant business. We're not allowed to get married on a Saturday. There's no way we're closing
Yes.
on a Saturday.
Wow.
And that was the only day where people weren't working the next day. 'Cause
True.
The next day was July 4th. So it was either Memorial Day Sunday, which was taken,
Right.
or July 3rd.
I got married on the Giants bye week.
Oh, John. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very important.
Yeah.
That's something I was
No, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What a plan.
Well, I mean, look, half my friends wouldn't have came to the wedding.
My buddy had one during like a pivotal Giants game. We were all in the back with your earphones.
That friend should not be your friend anymore. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, you should know ahead of
We
time.
were yelling. It was a long ceremony. We were yelling updates to the father of the groom.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I definitely was staying away from the Rangers' potential playoffs by going in October, but as a Ranger fan, they really had nothing to worry about anyway. I don't know why I even thought differently, but yes. And when you're at are you guys working all day together every day?
Pretty much. Well, over here we're here together every day,
Right.
and then there's a couple days where I'll go to the other spot, you know,
Okay.
before at Melissa or after Melissa, or you know, it's just. But for the most part, we're together all day, every day. Yes.
Yeah, so Still alive, still
Yeah,
naked.
yeah.
She's quiet. I'm just saying, bro. She's been a little quiet.
Yeah,
You know.
I haven't killed him yet.
Yeah. How do you guys manage that? Because I know a lot of people could never work with their spouse, or at least the balance.
It's early in the game, though. You know,
It is,
you know, it's early in the game.
But as far as turning off the work stuff, right? Because it's work with you
Right.
guys 16 hours a day, and I'm sure you go home and they're still talking about work. I mean, how do you do that?
No, I mean, we really don't turn it off, to tell you the truth. We're talking about it all the time, but as,
Even like when we're not at the restaurants, we're talking to the employees 24/7.
well, our employees, you know, as
That's a family in itself, right?
right, exactly. So our employees are actually like our friends, our best friends. So even when it's not about work, you know, we're talking to them all the time, and then we'll just go in and out of work just nonstop, just because we've been together for so long. At the other place, our managers, we've been with them 15 years, plus years. So yeah, so they worked for my father as well, who my dad's very strict, by the books type of owner, and to work for him, he builds you into some sort of character, and they've experienced that as well. So they just, we're all on the same page, so we all get along really well. But as far as us at home, we're always talking about work.
Yeah. Well, I guess if it's different because you guys co-own it, you're building it
If you're
together.
passionate about it.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. Now, what's the goal? Like, what's the vision for this? Because some people say, hey, I own 1 or 2 restaurants and that's it, or 3 in your guys' case, and some people say, I want to continue to expand and kind of build an empire. What's the thought there?
I mean, we definitely have the ability to build the empire. It's just a matter of when, how far you keep going, because we could just keep doing this and keep,
And it has to be the right opportunity
Right.
as well.
Right, we're at a point where, the opportunity would have to be so great to not turn down, like Bellworks was, in order to do that. I mean, people have approached us, we've had other opportunities, things like that, things we've considered, things we haven't considered, but like she said, it's really
Like Chicago?
like Chicago Bellworks, is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I'm just saying hypothetically, if
Well,
there's an opportunity.
Well, then
in
I can't, I
Chicago.
wouldn't be able to be there all the time,
Well, it'd be a nice vacation, right?
Right,
You go for a
vacation,
week
go
and
work.
she doesn't,
Yes.
and then the
Right,
opposite
right,
happens,
right.
and you have your 2-week vacation.
Yeah, I guess you have to be very cautious, right? Because a lot of restaurants, they open up, right, and they fail.
Right.
So, and you guys have been doing it for a long time. You
Yes.
obviously have, you know what works and what doesn't.
Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
jumping into something, unplanned where it's not the greatest idea, could
Right.
really damage the business, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, one place could affect the reputation of all your places.
That Yelp is the devil. Yelp is
Oh,
the
it's
devil.
worse.
Worse.
You're the devil.
Right.
The devil.
Let me give you a quick example of Yelp. We have, I think at the other place we have 90 reviews on Yelp. We have a good reputation.
They only show the bad ones, right?
Well, I mean,
You can't figure out the algorithm for them. They don't know.
But we've been open for 20 years, and we serve thousands and thousands and thousands of people on a weekly basis, and we have 90 reviews. I mean, we have a good reputation on Yelp, but do you really think that 90 reviews reflects your millions and millions of customers served? It's just...
Well, I have a question about that because I was on Yelp. I never go on Yelp, but I ended up being on Yelp last night. I was looking at this restaurant I'd gone to in Jerome, Arizona, this Mile High Cafe.
Like you were deep in the rabbit hole of the internet. Holy cow.
So I was looking at it, and it was like 5-star, 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 1-star, 5-star, 5-star, 1-star. And I started looking at these people who are the 1-stars, and it's like this one person has done 400 reviews, and they're all
Bash
1-star.
everyone, yeah.
How do you manage that? Is there any way? I don't know enough about Yelp. Is there
I think
any
you
way
should
to
take
get
the
this
right
up?
to vote away from that person. That's the first thing
Right.
you should do. Probably take their driver's license away from them. They can't go to goddamn restaurants or anything like that. Yeah, people like that. It's challenging. But with Yelp, they don't. Their algorithm is. It's odd with their reviews.
Right,
And they'll
absolutely.
tell you that they don't know.
No, yeah, of course. And you call them
They
and
know.
you say something. If you say this is not true, they say their response is, well, we give our customers the right to have their own opinions, so we have to leave it.
You can go to battle against that.
I mean,
person.
you can
write a
but-
response, right?
Right, but you're not gonna
My cousin.
battle
Yeah,
against
you're not
them.
gonna win anyone
You
over.
can respond,
Yeah.
yes, definitely.
My cousin did do that. Drew's Bistro in Keyport. He had one Yelp review and it was similar to that. Like they left 400 reviews, blah blah blah. And it was like, like the side dish was not. It was just
Oh,
ridiculous
yeah.
stuff, right? and he doesn't mess around. Like he's quiet until he's poked, and he just off. And I'm like, okay. So yeah.
What happens happens at this point.
But that's why you see a lot of places asking for people to leave reviews,
Yeah.
right? Is that something you guys do?
So we actually did that with Yelp too. We said that, just please review us. We had a chalkboard there, and people would review us. But like you said, Yelp's algorithm, if somebody has just one review, maybe even 2 reviews, they don't count it.
And it's random, the way,
Right.
like sometimes you could go to the page 5 different times and they'll show different reviews.
Right.
And the problem is that Samantha is the newest rep from Yelp, because I get a new email like once a month.
Yes.
I'm your newest Yelp rep,
Yes.
but they call you, I'm like, what are you
Right.
talking, it's,
Right. Well, the reason
It's
for
insanity.
that is because so they'll have somebody contact you
Yeah.
and say, "Hi, I'm from Yelp."
it's probably the
Blah,
same
blah, blah,
person.
and you say, "No, I'm sorry, I'm not interested." I say to them, "When you give me the ability to filter through my reviews, I will be interested." And they say, "Okay," and their job is to keep you on the phone. And then you
Yeah,
get
you're free
And
and
by the
dollars
way,
worth of
Yelp,
credits.
Right,
and
exactly.
Yelp is not cheap.
you get off the phone with them, and then somebody else
Yes.
contacts you a month later, acting like they have no prior knowledge of your conversation.
Yeah.
So and so left. I'm just following.
Yes.
Well, because it could
exactly.
be true, because they're all in there, it's like the Progressive commercial where it's the same person calling each other, or
Right.
no, Discover, whatever it is. And I'm like, I just talked to you.
Right, right.
Because they're like, hi, and I'm like, no it isn't, this is Jim from last week, what are you talking about? And they're not cheap either to be like
No,
on there,
absolutely.
because I think when they want, it was like $350 a month.
Yeah.
And I don't even like have a retail location.
And what do you get for people that aren't familiar? What do you get for that?
Headaches, stress,
They
disaster.
just bump you to the top.
It's like a ranking.
Oh,
It's
is
like
that
a-
what it is?
yeah.
A ranking system?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like in the wedding world, with Wedding Wire and the novel, I was doing all that, it's not nearly as bad as Yelp is, but in the restaurant business, I mean, for me, if I went back in that world, I would push everybody to Google where I had more control and it was
Yeah,
free
Yeah.
and it's more prominent, but Yelp has made themselves to a point where they're like the foodies or quote unquote foodies
Right.
space to go. It's a place for them to vent because they took a picture on Instagram, so they're a foodie now.
And
They're
there's so many reviews. They got good SEO. So they're.
Yeah, well, that's like for the Wedding Wire, it's almost like if you're not on it, the SEO from Wedding Wire for wedding vendors is tremendous. So you get a big boost. The problem is that you're dealing with a client that you may have worked with for a year and a half, and there's one bad moment or whatever, and they could just ruin, and it can ruin an honest day's work.
Speaking of SEO and marketing and all that stuff, how important is that to what you guys do? Or is it more word of mouth? I mean, how much focus do you put on
Well,
that?
it's both. Our reputation is very, very big. That's the word of mouth aspect of it. And there's a lot of people from this area that are familiar with our other restaurants. So there was a lot of anticipation for us to open up over here. And then on the same end, a lot of people weren't familiar with the Mexican place because it's our first. But as far as SEO and stuff like that, it's just to be out there all the time with any business though, it's very, very important. You just always wanna just be in front of people's faces. You want them to just remember and see a sandwich and say that that sandwich was great
A
from
what?
that place. That sandwich from that place was great. Why don't we order dinner from them tonight? It's not so much that you just want to keep reminding people.
Right.
That's really what search engine optimization is.
And just marketing in general. I mean,
Right.
we're down to your trucks, right? I see the truck,
Yeah.
around,
That's me. That's me right
Is
now.
it you?
Yeah. Then we
I'll
have.
pass you on the parkway.
We have
Or
two
wherever.
other ones.
Okay.
We have two other Kia Souls, and then I got a green Soul that we're about to wrap with Estrella Azul.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, it helps.
Is there a lunch truck coming? Or do you?
What, like a food truck?
Yeah, food truck.
We've thought about it.
I'm always called lunch trucks,
Right,
alright?
right,
Yeah.
right. We've definitely thought about it. It's just, that's a whole other business though.
It is an entire new business. Can the Mezza in Manawan, correct? Manal. Can that deliver here?
Oh, yeah.
We do.
We do deliver
Okay.
there. We do.
Alright.
Yeah.
Open menu?
Yeah. I mean, it's.
Alright, cool. Just wanna make sure I can get anything at Mezza
Right.
delivered here. If I wanted anything outside of sandwiches.
Right.
Okay.
Ah,
I'm just
I
saying.
see.
And I can do that online ordering?
Yeah. There's a separate online ordering system for there.
Okay. I think we've found a loophole.
Found a loophole, yeah.
If Trump can find loopholes, so can we in the pizzeria.
Yeah.
Melissa, who's the better cook?
quiet.
She's keeping quiet.
I always say that we bring different things to the table. As you can see, I'm the talker. You know, I'm the.
When did you hit puberty, by the way? Because that voice must have been like,
I-
you're like,
everyone in my family
He's throwing
is
off
like
all the
6'4".
words.
all the mics are all off. I'm like, geez, I got somebody who. Okay, sorry.
So her palate is definitely more developed than mine,
Mm-hmm.
and she actually brought me into a world of food that I was never into before.
Where you get stuck in your bubble, kind of like
Right,
a pizzeria.
right,
world,
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, just classic dishes my parents always used to make, and
Right.
we always used to have it. And then I started dating Melissa, and I was eating sea urchin and crazy stuff. But that's her, and that's her
It's the
family.
quiet ones you gotta worry
Yeah,
about.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah. You're like, oh, you want a slice of pizza? You're like, no, I'd like some sea urchin, please. Being from Italy, the food in the Italian industry here is not what you eat in Italy.
Not at all.
Not at all. In fact, to the point of like, I've never had chicken parm in my life
Right.
in Italy, but because there, in truth, the food is all cooked. It's salt, pepper, oil, balsamic, vinegar, like stuff like that. A lot of like arugulas and salads on the side. Veal, any of that kind of food just comes at best breadcrumbed, right?
Right.
All the dishes, but I think that's the case for a lot of the foods. Like Chinese food here, very different. Even Mexican food to a point.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But because of so many Latin people in America, I think there's a much bigger drive to get Latin foods like home. But Italian food has really become the American comfort food
Right.
outside of like disco fries and gravy and stuff like that. Poutine or what?
Poutine, yeah.
Okay, so I have to make sure I got it correct. Do you have those types of foods? Do your parents are like, I can't take this Italian food here? Like,
No, they're all in the same business.
I know you got to feed the client.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, but like, do you try to throw on a special that's more?
We have. Well, I mean, for like we made the Easter pies.
The pizza
Yeah,
rustica.
Yeah.
The pizza rustica that
Yeah.
our family makes at home, and
Yes.
people that know what it is love it.
A lot of
Right, it
people
depends on
don't
how you
know.
make it, right? There's 20
Exactly.
different families over
Yeah.
there. You make it this way, you make it this
Yes.
way. Shoot,
Oh,
what?
yeah,
But
that's-
like,
that's
yeah, it's all different
everything.
ways. And yes, I remember you guys did that, right, during Easter.
Yeah.
What do you eat when you're home, outside of the food? Now, I ate so much freaking pizza forever, right? Like, you would eat it, like, literally like a chip,
Oh yeah.
right? Like,
Oh,
just,
yeah.
like just eat, so
Well,
like, I
It's,
can only imagine.
it's
And you guys
just-
are young, so it's still okay.
Right. I mean, I grew up eating, pretty much a slice of pizza every single day. That's
Farm
just-
Central.
Right, that's just
Yeah.
for breakfast, lunch, dinner, anything. That was just, that's how it is. But, at home, it's really, we take stuff home from the restaurants
Mhm.
or we go out because, we work 14 hours a day in a restaurant. We're going to go home and cook.
No, yeah. Do you ever? I grew up eating. I don't know. It was what's considered the Italian bread. The round loaves with put water on top and then put sugar on top.
No.
That was that, and 2 eggs raw, beaten in a cup with a little bit of sugar. That was breakfast.
Says it explains so much.
You know what I'm saying? When my cousins would come here, they'd be like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Pancakes." They didn't know because
Oh,
like the
right.
night they didn't know that any of that
Right.
stuff. So my mother, whenever we go, we'd have to go with Aunt Jemima syrup in our luggage, pancake mix, and Fruit Loops because they didn't have cereal. They just it was just different. It was
Oh, it's completely different.
different completely.
They make their own pasta and everything.
Yeah, but they do that before like 8 a.m.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
done. Like my mom's up at like 5 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
Like with the whole thing. Yes. So I eat well, but it's a lot of damn carbs. I'm just saying, Mike, you got a question? Did I just completely throw you off?
Well, I'm from Canada. I don't have the.
Don't downplay it too much. Canada has a lot of wonderful.
Are you a
culture.
Knicks fan?
So what's that?
Are you a Knicks fan?
Am I a Knicks fan?
Are you excited about RJ Barrett?
No, I'm not excited about him.
This is a former hockey player.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, not Knicks. Do you? I do. I'm a Yankees fan, though.
Oh,
in this.
huge Yankees fan.
Yes.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right, thanks for the bellcast. Good night, everybody.
Lorenzo's a Mets fan.
Quiet.
Yes.
Quiet. Okay.
No, I had a question just specific on online ordering. Payments online as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
So you go there, it's all paid for. You just pick it up.
Just pick it up. Piece of cake. And instead of waiting online for 10, 15 minutes or whatever.
That's gonna be huge.
Yeah, that's gonna be big. And that's something I think where now it's can be marketed around here, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna market. Are you guys working at all with Ultraviolet or anything else?
Yeah.
to do
I
that?
think Tuesday everyone should be getting an email that we're gonna start the online
Actually, I don't know if
ordering.
I think they're gonna post it, because I don't think next week they're doing a newsletter, but regardless, next
Well, you're
week.
announcing it right now anyway, so
Yeah.
this comes out on Tuesday, either way, you're good.
Yeah, we've got our own social media. accounts.
Regardless of what it is, we're gonna blast it all everywhere starting next week. You know, it's all ready to go. We're just gonna run some final testing, but and we eventually hope to do. I mean, if not to start, we'll see how it goes this weekend. Catering through online ordering as well.
Nice.
Someone could just, you know, you have a last minute meeting or something like that, and want
Yeah,
yeah,
office, yeah.
just as long as we have enough notice, we could definitely get it together. But it's, you know, with the delivery and with, you know, skipping the line, I think it's gonna be huge.
Oh, that's huge. That's what, I mean, everyone wants convenience now.
Right.
You see even, you know, Starbucks is a good example. You go into Starbucks and there's just people coming in on mobile ordering, just picking up all day long. Once you get used to that, I feel like you don't go back on it. But it does probably provide some other challenges for you guys, right? Like if you get 100 people that are saying, hey, deliver lunch at 1 o'clock, you know.
Well, the way we are is, we get 100 people that want lunch delivered, we're gonna have 100 people delivering stuff. We're just gonna fulfill the need.
What do you get later?
You'll
Like-
figure it out. You'll find
We'll get segways, we'll be flying all over the building.
That's the thing. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, well, Workwave does the free lunches,
Drones.
right? And I think,
Drones, yeah, right.
Drones.
so now we gotta push, Refresh Advertising should do well, he's got like 40 employees now, so one thing we'll need to do is set up a tab for Refresh so that you and I can order
Oh, so you
lunches.
can put it on the
That's
tab,
good.
yeah, that's great.
Yes, Kevin, what are we, just sitting here for that?
I'll try to vape, don't worry about it.
Okay, well, thank you very much, maybe we can get a tab. Do you guys serve coffee at your place?
No.
No, okay. Is that just not, I'm just curious because maybe the
Well,
Italian in me
Yeah,
said.
we get espresso.
Because Booster do,
Oh, okay, that's fine, that's okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you guys, you know, I'm kind of not too familiar with how it's going now, but, are you trying not to, everyone's trying not to step on toes? I guess,
Yeah, well,
as
I mean,
far as-
there are some, you know,
offerings.
exclusives and stuff like that, like, you know, another Italian restaurant can't open up over here.
Mhm.
You know, we can't make certain things, other places can't make certain things, but also, you don't want to make those things. You don't
Yeah.
want to, you know, you don't, if everybody sells coffee, the coffee shop's not gonna do as well as
Yeah,
they should be, and,
You
you know,
want
I'm not-
everyone to do well.
right,
Yes.
exactly. This is a, you know, a community, we want everyone to do well. I have a great relationship with the other restaurants, other places, all, I
Well,
want everyone to do well.
It's good that,
Good answer.
Yeah, if everyone
Yeah,
sticks
it
to it
is.
though, you've got you've got Mexican, you've got Italian,
Of course.
and no one's going to come in and infringe on
Yeah.
that, so if everyone kind of respects it, then,
We need an Irish pub in here, Kevin.
We do need an Irish pub so bad. I've thought of, if I had money, I would definitely drop one in. It would be nice.
Well,
Well,
we could have less, you have a tab for us over there.
Do Wi-Fi at the
Still
Irish pub,
Bellcast, right?
people come down at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, that's when you might get people to stay. They get a little tipsy at a happy hour, and then they, stumble over to Mezza and, pick up
Welcome to
some food.
McLuna's.
Big Lunas, there you go.
Turn it over at that point.
Yeah, go right next door.
Do you provide pineapple on your pizza? And do you judge them as harshly as I
We
do?
can't sell pizza.
No, not at
In
this
and out,
location.
in and out,
no,
but it's an
Okay,
option.
I got you, no problem. Let it out, my man. It's called therapy. I know, no one listening to it, Dory. Do you judge them as harshly as I do, and often lie to them when I was in the pizzeria world and said, no, I'm sorry, we're out of pineapple?
No, we do, but it's all
You're
about,
such a West Coast.
it's all about giving the customer what they want. People
He's
love,
winking at me while he's answering. He's like, there's no chance that's not a pizza. Okay.
oh no, it's not,
Oh, okay.
oh, it is not a pizza,
Do you eat
but
pineapple on your pizza?
I've tried it, but the salty sweet, pineapple with ham, that's the thing, because
That's
this-
my wife. She,
Right.
yeah, she, like, I won't eat, no, it doesn't happen in my
Try
house.
pineapple, ham, and hot peppers. It's really
Oh,
good
it's
all
salty
together.
sweet.
Look, I want to be very courteous and polite to you with this and all that stuff, but no.
The experts, see? So Lorenzo asked that
I don't
question
want
a
to
lot.
pull any expert level, but I got 16 years and
He'll
You know,
throw,
straight.
he'll throw that question out of random guests who have nothing to do with food.
Well, no, this-
So
yeah.
now it actually makes sense for the very first time.
I had this all planned out. I paced out Mezzaluna for a
But
certain
see,
time.
what Lorenzo had planned was for you guys to be totally against it and ripping
Right,
on it.
right,
And it
right.
He
didn't
is,
quite
he's
work.
just being nice, and she's too nice, and I can't. Okay, listen, here's what I'll tell you. I hate merry-go-rounds, but I really love boy bands, so let's go from there. See? I hate merry-go-rounds. My wife and my kid will, If they see a merry-go-round and it's hidden under a campsite in a they'll find it.
It'll be there.
Well, it's a good
And
random.
what-
I don't like merry-go-rounds.
It's a good random question.
And I don't care, and I have no
So
problem
why are you
telling
saying
you.
that? Because you
If I
recently
had
got stuck
pineapple
on a
pizza on a
merry-go-round?
yes, I get stuck on merry-go-rounds all the time. I have to sit on the bench because I get dizzy, and there's a picture of me on Instagram doing it. I got back from Disney. There's a lot of heat right now coming.
Kevin's writing notes right now. I don't know what he's writing, but he's saying,
Am I really getting married?
Oh, there
Oh, you
go.
got something?
That sparks.
He's
that
getting
sparks-
married, so we.
No, because
Congrats.
thank you. The great, we talk weddings all the time because he's from the wedding industry and he likes to rip on me for getting married this year.
I don't like to rip on you. I like to enjoy the process. And Mike stays quiet over there, but he's like, I can't say anything because I'm newly married, so I'm quiet. I'm like vintage married, so I don't give a F.
newly married. We're going on 4 years.
Yes. Well,
My man.
In his world, you're still
Re-
newly married.
Retract
In
that.
our world.
Because anybody who watches this right now is gonna be like,
It's 4 years.
yes, even he knows. Even Kevin knows.
Still
you,
honeymooning.
you guys been married how long again? 3 years. Okay.
And we saw something in the notes. You guys got married at the Venetian.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct. Cool. That's gotta be cool.
Oh, yeah. No,
This is a little bit more than notes. This is like 2 pages. Did
Yeah,
Mike
we've got a
do
full bio.
Did Mike do this?
One of the interns.
Wait,
One of the 25 interns.
last week I showed up for the podcast and this was all set up and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Now this, I get this, and I'm like,
I'm
you can
expanding
have
my role from international sales to a lot of different things.
Full bios, yeah, but I saw that pop up, the Venetian. So you tell, because I'm getting married in 2 months. We've been planning every little thing. So Vegas, but you did like the full.
No. You're thinking of the Venetian in Vegas.
Oh.
So there's a Venetian in Garfield.
Oh my
Oh.
God. This is the difference. When I saw the
Oh, I saw
Venetian,
the
I'm like,
Venetian.
okay, so they went up to North Jersey, got married.
Oh.
And he
I
is,
thought
you are
Vegas.
so not married. You are so not married.
I don't
You
know.
are
this.
so not
I don't
married.
know these things.
No, you clearly don't.
See, what he was picturing was like you guys ran
No,
off to Vegas.
No, I'm
Elvis
thinking, he's
married.
not gonna stand on marble floors for 8 hours at the wedding, at the Venetian, because as a former DJ, you got people standing on.
Well, he has a huge venue though too, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're known for their food, so that's why
Yes.
we got married there.
All right.
Yeah.
So, the Venetian there, I probably
I
done
love
about
that
150.
hotel. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. I've seen weddings go on. They do like they walk through. You
This is the Irish side of it. Where did you drink, mate? Lad, fam.
Okay.
Okay, so now, do you wanna,
Two Venetian.
why don't you ask the question that you would have asked had you thought they got married in Vegas at the Venetian?
And we'll answer it how I think you would want me to answer it.
But this is the Irish, they go from white to bright red and back to white.
No, yeah, I thought you guys got married in Vegas. It was either, did you guys have everyone, fly everyone out to Vegas for the weekend, or was it, a
This is
shotgun wedding? It
tremendous.
was just,
Let's pretend you got married.
did you go to Vegas now?
Alright, Kevin, you got a backup question?
No, that was it.
I
That
Like
was the
save,
only one.
like save.
Yeah.
See,
No,
Kevin
but-
didn't know anything about the wedding industry. I didn't know anything about the NBA, so those are two fails.
Right.
Stupid.
And I know too much about it, too little
Everything.
about everything.
And we didn't know that you ran a pizzeria for 15 years. So
Yes.
there you go.
In Demarest, New Jersey.
We're all learning.
Yeah.
We're all
I
learning.
also worked at Jose Tejas, so I got both sides of the Mexican and the Italian side.
Well,
Nice.
if and when the whole.
So if you guys ever need an
If
employee,
and when the whole design or the podcasting doesn't work out, Lorenzo's gonna be showing up.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, John,
my,
you got a
my wife is like, you really don't want to open up? I'm like, no. You don't understand what it's like 15 hours a day, every day, 650 degrees. In the winter, it's nice. You don't have to turn the heat on and great like that. But in the summer, no. No.
now is there ever a time, because obviously your family has been in it, is there ever a time where you can step out and be an owner and let someone run it, or is it just kind of
4th of July and
Right.
Christmas.
No, we're open on the 4th of July, but
Christmas.
In Manalapan, we're open 4th of July.
right, we're only closed. We're accustomed to being closed 3 days a year: Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter. And those are our only. When I say full day off, I mean day off that I don't have to think about it, because when we're not there, we're calling, texting, just saying, how's it going, what's going on, just staying in the loop. But I mean, at the other place, we definitely have great people that have been there for a long time. That I mean, we could definitely step out. Doesn't mean I won't freak out and wonder what's going on, but we definitely could. So needless to say, we went on a honeymoon. We've been away, but it's
The mall.
hard.
So
It's tough.
after 20 years, it is possible to take a day
It
off.
is, yes.
Yeah, but then you start a new place and then
Right.
Yeah.
another 20
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
So.
But I just think it's interesting because a lot of people who are not in that space, entrepreneurs, have the ability to go away, but it's still like, I can never get away. You really can't get away.
Right.
So how do you balance that? Because the conversation we always have is balance, work-life balance, right? Which Lorenzo
Is it
doesn't
possible?
believe in, and I agree with you 100%. But how do you turn off a little bit when you go on vacation? Do you
Right.
guys go travel at all, or how does that work?
We actually, before Bellworks, we were taking, big vacations. I mean, when I say big vacations, I mean 4 days, Monday through Thursday, or Sunday through Thursday, because, we're not taking off on the weekend. But we've been to Europe, we've been to a bunch of places, but we are cramming this in, 3 countries in 4 days, and then to give you an example,
You
there's.
need a vacation from your vacation.
Right, yeah, exactly, but I mean, we went to Paris a couple of years ago, and it was like 2 or 3 in the morning in Paris, and I'm on the phone with them, just talking to them, making sure, and I forget what happened, but just.
You take a picture in front of the Eiffel Tower, so Paris or
Yeah.
Pisa? Which one?
We have both. We have
No, I
both.
know you did.
Right,
I'm saying, when you go to, was that your first time to Pisa?
yeah.
Okay, you walk there and you think there's this elaborate thing.
Oh,
Then
yeah, it's
You
just-
walk and it's an
Yeah.
empty field and there's the Leaning Tower. of
Yeah.
Pisa.
Now, was that Paris or Paris Hotel in Vegas?
No.
That was the real
It was the
We
real
went to
Paris.
Paris.
You know what
what?
Mike is ripping on you, Kevin. Sorry, this is literally
No, it's bad. When Mike,
He's gonna do the next gas station. He's gonna
Oh,
everything. He's gonna turn into like Howard Stern with the whack pack and everything.
I'm gonna have my own bio.
So you did with the Paris Pisa. Was that honeymoon or was that vacation?
Paris was anniversary. Pisa was part of our honeymoon.
Okay. Are your parents still in the mix? Are they?
Hers are in her house in Manalapan that she was raised in.
But my parents
Okay.
aren't in the restaurant business.
Right, yeah. My mom is local here. My dad lives in Florida.
Okay. What did your parents do growing up? Were you in They're not in the restaurant business.
No, my mom teaches at Goddard. She's an infant teacher, and then
Which got it?
in Englishtown.
Okay.
And then my dad recently retired, but he was in banking for
Banking.
a really long time.
Are they interested in going into post-retirement restaurant business expansion, bro?
I don't think so.
Not an Irish pub? Maybe. I'm trying to get you an Irish pub here.
Criminal justice, how did that kind of?
It was
Come on.
He's
just.
trying to redeem himself now.
Yeah.
She was
No.
in jail, dude, not criminal justice.
I got that one wrong.
No, I interned in a jail, so
Down in DC, right?
in DC I interned with the police department, but then in New Jersey I interned with a jail and I was tutoring inmates here. So I just always had an interest in it since high school, and if I wasn't doing this, I would be doing. I always wanted to do FBI work, but I came along this path instead.
So when you're pissed, you're like, F it, I'm out, I'm going to work.
Go
That's
with
it.
Feds.
That's it. And you said at Rutgers, right? Did you
Yeah.
live there or did you?
Yeah, I lived there.
You lived there, okay. And where did you say? Sorry, I missed it. Where you went to
I
school?
went to Monmouth.
You went to Monmouth, okay.
I couldn't go more than 15 minutes away. I wasn't allowed. You kidding?
Right.
And that doesn't mean we weren't crying our eyes out when my parents dropped me off 15 minutes away from our house. Yeah. All of us, every single person in my family, crying our eyes out, and I was almost walking distance from my house.
Crying as in, I don't want to leave you, mama?
Yes, yes.
Are you the oldest?
Close.
I'm the oldest.
My man. Okay, we get everything. And no, we're not driven by mother's guilt, and we're not mama boys. We actually stand up to them and stuff like that. But anyway, let's not go into my therapy. Do you come from an Italian background?
My mom's Italian.
Okay. And when you started working there, was it a smaller location? Like, or did the place grow? Same location always?
It's the same location that I started in.
Okay.
In
It
Manalapan.
grew, just not in size.
Okay, I
Just
understand.
business grew.
The business group. Do you still expand your food palette? Like, or are you? Or
I'm always open to trying new
Okay.
things.
You're a little bit.
I'll try anything. Melissa will try anything.
Okay, I understand that.
I'll eat, you
might think escargot, and she's like, yeah, pop a bite.
Really,
of
anything
Right,
she
right.
convinces you to eat.
Right.
And
I'll
she'll
eat,
go out and
I'll
try.
eat anything, pretty much anything,
Just to try.
and Melissa will suck the brains out of a live animal.
Oh my god,
You heard it here
that would
first.
not happen.
Thanks to the Bellcast, this will be our final episode based on PETA. He wants an Irish pub. And as far as, what would you like guys to see? Like, I know competition is healthy, but like,
Here.
is there a type of restaurant or a type of food that you have thought about going into outside of what you're doing now? Do you like the Mexican style food? Is it something you could see pushing a second location or expanding, or is
Yeah,
it you
definitely.
feel more comfortable?
No, I mean, definitely, but like I said, it's just, the opportunity would have to, come to us, rather than, us looking for another location. It's just like how we opened up
Okay.
Bellworks. I mean, we weren't really specifically looking to open up another location, it was just, the opportunity was so great, and we had, such a, a successful background that we just wanted to grow.
Okay. Chicago pizza, is it pizza? What do you think?
I don't even know if I've ever had Chicago
Yeah,
pizza.
I've never tried it.
Well, you made it for Easter in theory, because that's the way they make Chicago style pizza. Have you ever had it?
Yeah, that's
Pizza.
generally a lot of it is how we.
It's like a quiche.
But yeah, but it's pretty much just like a pile of sauce and cheese.
Yeah.
From what I've seen.
I think we can all agree that California-based pizza is just ridiculous.
That's
I don't even see anything red on it. No, it's like cauliflower pizza with arugula on it. We're like,
Cauliflower
oh,
pizza.
yeah.
What's your thoughts on cauliflower?
I tried it once, the worst.
So we sell cauliflower pizza at the other place, but the most popular cauliflower pizzas are, people just think that it's good for you, but it's actually horrible. The
Really?
popular ones.
Okay.
But I mean, just read the ingredients on whatever you're eating. Just read, nutritional facts. The popular ones have more carbs than regular pizza.
in America, they only read the ingredients for what they feed their dog.
Right.
That's you don't do it here.
That's
Basically, the logic is
What does
if
the
you
picture
shop.
look like on the front of the
Yes,
box?
if you shop on the outside perimeter of the place, you're good. If you shop as you go closer and closer, it's less and less. I did make the cauliflower pizza once. No, I just rather just not eat cauliflower. I'm good. Have you had it before?
Yeah, my fiance does it a lot. But she like will read specifically up on every kind, find the best one, and like
Right.
get it, ordered in bulk.
So you
On
eat one
Amazon.
slice and then you go out to like
Yeah.
Taco Bell
I'm
at
like,
2
oh, this
in
is
the
great.
morning when you're asleep.
This
That's
is great,
fine.
thanks. Have a steak now.
I'm lucky my mom stays with us 4 days, so she cooks. And if I don't, she does. Yeah.
Lucky.
I forgot what I was going to ask. So Mike or Kevin, take it.
No, I had a quick question for you because we talked about this a little on the way over, but with Bell, one of the biggest questions is always, do people outside know that they can come to Bell, right? And a lot of people in the area think you have to work here, and people say, well, I just can't go in there, I don't have a badge.
Right.
So are you guys doing anything from a marketing standpoint to try and message out, whether it's social or anything like that?
Yeah, from like our other, from the Manalapan location, the Instagram and Facebook page, I'm constantly like promoting Bellworks and trying to get people to come here, especially on Wednesdays when they have the market, and we do get a good amount of people coming here from Manalapan.
What do you think is the best way, for the whole group to get more people in here?
I was
They
thinking
have the
outside
library
here,
here,
Yeah,
right?
we've
They
talked
have
about this
social
kind of
stuff.
internally, right? I know people, behind the scenes here are working on that as well. But yeah, as far as getting
I would get an ice cream truck and just drive around the complex here.
Well, once it's full, I think once
Well,
all
not
retail is, Jersey Freeze is coming.
Yeah.
Jersey Freeze
No,
is-
no, but not ice cream in there.
Yeah,
Like,
they're actually our good friends.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
The owners Jersey Freeze.
can they sell pizza?
No, they can't.
Well, you guys had a similar thing where there were one location,
Right.
and now this has apparently sparked them to go out of their comfort zone.
Right.
I've never had Jersey Freeze. I'm
very
good.
saying, look, I'm bouge with the gelato and that stuff, so I'm holding a lot of standards. So I'm hoping to
You're a northerner though, right?
Italian.
No, northern New
Oh,
Jersey.
we have Bergen County. Yeah, but go ahead.
Is there Jersey Freeze up there? I don't know.
Oh,
No,
I thought you were
one.
gonna.
They're
I thought you were
only-
gonna
One in
say
Freehold,
something.
one in
Only
Freehold, the only
Freehold,
one.
that's the only
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say something.
Every year I feel like, because my wife grew up just on the street from Jersey Freeze, so that was like the big thing.
Oh, really?
And every year I feel like it was their last year and their last year and their last year, and so we always make sure we go there 20 times because it's gonna be the last year.
Gotta support them, Hey, well,
Is that how she spins it to you?
That's what she does. That's what she tells me.
we've gotta go more.
No, the first time I went to Jersey Freeze, I didn't know anything about Jersey Freeze, and I got a milkshake there, and I got the large, and it's like
Oh, yeah.
32.
It's like a gallon.
It's like 32
Yeah.
ounces. And it was
Did
not.
Take the whole. You drank the whole thing.
I
You probably.
I
You had a rough day.
But yeah, Jersey Freeze is like an institution.
When are they coming in? Right. This seems like.
Soon. Oh, I
Where are
mean,
they going? Where are they
right across from us.
Across or like on I think on the
Yeah,
diagonal.
yeah, but they're in the building right across from us.
Okay. So as far as tapping into the outside community here, the houses.
Right, so I think it's a group effort because, for example, it's like, we have great food,
But he closes at 5, right? So it's hard to get
Right.
them for dinner.
But
and
even
stuff.
if somebody wants to come here for lunch, it's like, does anybody go to the mall to eat at the food court? You know, it's like they
I
go
always
there to
agree with
do
this, yes.
all it. So it's
Yeah.
tough to have somebody drive over here, park, and then walk 5 to 10 minutes in here just to eat.
Yeah. I know.
But if there's once everything's open, everything's going, you know, they're gonna come in here.
Once there's
they'll-
entertainment. and-
Right,
The
exactly.
events bring a lot of
Right.
outside people,
Events are
like
great.
Yes.
the Mardi Gras party, there were a ton of outside people. Then we had the Cinco de Mayo party, I
Yes.
think about half the people there were outside people.
Right, they're all.
You're gonna have golf, you're gonna have an escape room,
Right.
you're gonna have the
The
VR
virtual reality.
plays, you know, some, you know, I guess people coming in, also maybe, you know, them doing parties at some of these
Right.
places, right? Could be catering,
Yeah.
kind of crossover things.
Does the market bring a lot of people in for you guys?
Oh yeah, Wednesdays are our
Yeah.
busiest day.
I noticed more and more of the construction guys that are out and about tend to come here. They go to hummus or they go to a couple different places because it's easier for them or different for them because they're always out on the road. And I saw that. I just think that they need a couple of what do they call those stores? Not discount stores, but like Neiman Marcus will do like a small store and outlet store, right?
Yeah, a couple outlets.
I would love to see like 4 or 5 of those type small pop-ups that like a Best Buy, just a small Best Buy pop-up.
In
Because
the original plan, there was, the original drawings, there were.
that would draw people in
outlets,
at least
yeah.
more often, and then
Very
like
high
you said, they won't come here necessarily to eat because of the walk and all that stuff, but if they're in here already, then there's places for them to eat.
Shop.
I guess around here it's tough because if you close at 5, you can stay open.
We can stay open for
Whenever
It's
we
just
want.
kind of chicken and the egg, right? You're not gonna stay open till there's people, and people aren't gonna come unless things are open.
We'll be open for as long as there's business to be made.
Do you guys do breakfast or like?
We don't, like I said, the other places, they all do breakfast. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, they do an okay business right now for breakfast.
Yeah.
If we start doing breakfast, we'll all do very little. So once the building's full, it's definitely a possibility. It's just right now, you know, it's
You
just.
don't wanna butcher anyone
Right,
else's.
exactly.
Slow.
Yeah, absolutely.
slowly build it up.
Okay.
I've seen more and more cops coming in here to get coffee in the morning. Maybe that's, you use your cop connection with the criminal
There you
justice.
go.
So are you trying to say we need a donut shop in here?
Yeah.
I'm
Hey, Duck Donuts, yeah.
Duck donut. Well, they get the donuts up front. Do you guys do any sweets or desserts? I'm trying to remember.
We played around with it a little bit.
Okay.
We did like Nutella empanadas and stuff like that.
Right.
People weren't really, you know, going for it. It's, you know, it's tough for people to eat sweets during lunch. They're not really.
In the afternoon, it's big time, 2, 3 o'clock afternoon crowd, get a sweet.
So you could do like they do soup and salad. You know, a half sandwich. You could do a half sandwich and a cannoli. And take it to go.
How do you guys test that? So when you say like we tried that and it didn't work,
Right,
how
so-
long do you test it? Because is it just that it hasn't picked up yet?
Right, so
People know,
the
people know about
kiosks actually make it really easy
it?
because
Okay.
we can alter the menu however we want on the kiosks, and they walk up to it, and there'll be an item there that's, you know, we put it in the very front and everything, and it'll be a new item, and, you know, if it doesn't sell, we can just take it off. It's not on a printed menu or anything, so we put it on there, front and center. If it doesn't sell, then we know there's not really a need for it.
I feel like, you know, for some of us who are more active kind of in the community, when we come in, we read the signs and we wanna know what's going on and we try to be very involved with everything. But I think for a lot of the employees here, you know, maybe they come in with the blinders on, right? They come in,
Right.
they walk through, they go up to their desk and they come back out and leave. So it's really hard to reach them with any kind of thing, cause you're not, you know, going into each of the businesses and telling them about what's going on.
Well, there's a lot of people going up into the side entrances and just going right up in the elevators on the side. They're not
They've
even
never
walking
seen
in
anything,
the middle at all.
Maybe like a conveyor belt all the way down and like just.
That's what we need, people movers.
Yeah, like people
Airport.
movers at Disney. Well, yeah, there was a ride at Disney, and I know because I went to Disney 2 weeks ago for 8 days. That's another story. That's why I don't like merry-go-rounds. I do like band boys, boy bands. I just told you, yeah, band boys.
He's having a stroke.
Disney like
There's that light flickering, yeah.
I get on a
Boy
plane.
bands, boy
I get on a
bands.
plane. I go to Italy, and I'm like, I'm in Italy, but I'm in Italy in Epcot right now, and it's just not working for me. Anyway, have you guys been to Disney?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Yeah.
Together?
Great, yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony's a big Disney fan.
Oh,
I love
So
Aladdin.
it is-
Aladdin comes out today.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right,
Oh,
today.
Yeah.
We were talking, is it kids, is it more of an adult, you know, destination, maybe 50-50?
Oh, no, it's great. I love this.
I am so fucking out of this spectrum episode right now. So out. I would eat pineapple pizza right now. I enjoy Disney, but anyway. Aladdin's coming out today. I do know. Well, I didn't know that. I saw the preview, and now I know officially that. Okay, all right. I stayed at the Wilderness Lodge.
All right.
Very bougie. Yeah, very like, nice carpeting, ventilation, all that.
Carpet.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah, nice.
Animal Kingdom?
No, it's near Magic Kingdom.
Oh.
So you gotta take a bus, right? To go to
Yeah,
the park?
everything. Yeah, if you listen to the last episode, I recapped Disney in only the way I can. But yeah, no, I don't like merry-go-rounds. Anyway, that said, websites, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, just
Where we order
plugs.
Mezzaluna.com.
It's mezzalunabw.com.
Okay.
And then Estrella Azul, that's ESTRELLA Estrella Azul,
Okay.
BW.com.
Okay.
And that's going to be the online ordering, or is
Yes.
it
Right.
the app?
Those are our websites, and then we have the online ordering button right when you open it up.
Is there an app being a part of it? Tell us, do they do the app? for you?
No, it's just a website that they
Just a
give us.
website that-
I think they do have an app, but I think the website's easier
Yeah,
to operate.
okay. One last one. How's the turnover in this world with employees?
Restaurant?
Because I noticed here, it seems like a lot of the people are still there.
Yeah.
Right,
Which is
well,
surprising.
our employees are the most important thing to us. We make sure that we take care of them, we, you know, they're also our friends. So turnover for us is not that high because, you know, we wanna make sure that they're happy. But in this industry, turnover, you know, you go into the kitchen every day in a restaurant and there's somebody new.
The chain restaurants have like, they'll work, I worked at Applebee's last week, and where are you this week? I'm at, what's the other, Outback or
People
whatever.
just rotate.
They rotate around, but like, yeah, when I was, because I stayed at that one for 16 years, and I would say probably about 80% of the people there were there for a long period of time. And it was 2 pizzerias that he had, but yeah, it's funny, like that style, the turnover is usually
Right.
low, whereas the chain restaurants,
Oh, yeah.
they go through.
Seems like, yeah, you had a family for the 20 years at the other location, now you're kind of building the same thing here.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully you keep some of the same faces, day in, day out.
Oh, definitely.
And any investors looking for an Irish pub, Kevin?
Please, let me know.
You'll drink all the profits away.
I probably will.
Thank you to both of you. If you're listening to this podcast, you can see it on YouTube, bellcast.com, info@thebellcast.com if you want to be on it. Michael, anything Canadian you'd like to say?
Final thoughts.
No, thank you guys, and make sure that for everyone listening, online ordering.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Stop
Yes.
down, Mezzaluna.
Kevin?
Estrella Azul.
Something Irish you want to say?
He just said Estrella Azul.
I did.
Oh, that's-
Very Irish.
Thanks for listening. Thank you both. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
That was the worst ending I ever just made. I'm going to edit. All right, episode 18. It's in the can. Sorry.
First time he's never done that.
Yeah, just
I was wondering.
Yeah, it's like very calm.
I was hoping you'd
Thanks,
whip out
guys,
something
thanks.
like French Polynesian when I said